everyone, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, I am so happy that you found me today, and for those who are returning, I'm so grateful for your support. I'm Elizabeth, your coach and guide on all things healing on your wellness and spiritual journey. Today we are going to dive into one of the biggest misconceptions about spirituality. There is only one right way to connect with the divine. You might hear people say things like, you need to meditate every day, you need to wake up at 5 a.m., you should follow this exact spiritual routine. But the truth is something much more freeing. Your spiritual path is not supposed to look like anyone else's. Just like your health is bio-individual to your specific body, so is your spiritual life and what works best for you at any given moment. Your journey is never going to look like anyone else's, and if you've ever felt resistance towards certain spiritual practices, it doesn't necessarily mean you're lazy or undisciplined. Sometimes that resistance is actually your soul telling you that the tool simply isn't meant for you. Some people connect deeply through things like meditation. Others feel closest to the divine when they're moving their body, creating art, being in nature, or listening to music. What matters isn't the method. It's the presence and the connection that you cultivate. Spirituality is about connection. At its core, spirituality is simply the practice of connecting with something greater than yourself. For some people, that connection happens to be silence. For others, it happens through movement, creativity, or service. Across cultures and traditions throughout history, people have discovered countless ways to access this deeper connection. So if you find yourself struggling to sit still and in silence and in a meditation and quiet your mind, then there are many other ways that you can use to make that connection. In ancient traditions, spiritual practice wasn't limited to sitting still and meditating. It often included things like dancing rituals, music and chanting, prayer, storytelling, time spent in nature, creative expression. All of these practices were ways of bringing awareness to the present moment and connecting with something sacred. In modern psychology, is beginning to confirm what these traditions understood long ago. These practices don't just nurture the spirit. They also regulate your nervous system, they reduce stress, and help people live more balanced lives. And it's often very common for people to receive divine downloads when they're in a flow state of creative expression and joy when their channel is open. Now let's discuss Carl Jung's teaching on the individual spiritual path, because his teachings are so powerful for the human experience, and I love to incorporate them in these. Carl Jung believed that each person's spiritual journey was deeply personal. He described a process called individuation, which is the lifelong journey of awakening and becoming fully yourself. For Jung, spirituality wasn't about copying someone else's beliefs or routines. It was about discovering the unique path that allows you to integrate all parts of yourself, the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, and what he called the self, the deeper organizing center of the psyche. Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Spiritual practices are simply tools that help you move towards that wholeness. But the tools that work best for you may be different from what works best for me or someone else. With that said, what are the different ways to connect spiritually? So if meditation or traditional spiritual routines don't resonate with you, then that doesn't mean you're disconnected. It simply means that your spiritual practice takes a different form. So let's talk about some of the many ways that people can connect with themselves and with the divine. Number one, meditation and stillness. Meditation is one of the most well-known spiritual practices. It helps calm the mind, regulate your nervous system, and create space for deeper awareness. Research has shown that regular meditation can help to reduce stress hormones, to help improve your emotional regulation, and to strengthen parts of the brain related to attention and compassion. But meditation doesn't always have to look like sitting perfectly still. For some people, stillness feels uncomfortable at first, and that's okay. There are many other doorways into presence. Number 2, you can try movement as a spiritual practice. For some people, movement is the most powerful way to connect with themselves. Things like yoga, dance, walking, and even strength training can become spiritual practices when done with awareness. Many traditions often recognized this long ago. In Sufi mysticism, practitioners used spinning and rhythmic movement to reach altered states of consciousness. Indigenous cultures around the world use dance ceremonies to connect with the spirit world. When you move your body mindfully, you release tension that's stored there from the nervous system, and you allow emotions to move through the body to process and release them. Movement can become meditation in motion. Number 3, creativity and expression is another great powerful tool, the pathway to creativity. Writing, painting, music, and other forms of artistic expression often allow people to access parts of their subconscious mind. Carl Jung believed that a creative expression was one of the most powerful ways to communicate with the unconscious. He even used art and drawing as part of his own psychological exploration. Creativity allows the inner world to become visible. It can reveal insights, emotions, and wisdom that words alone cannot express. Number 4, nature as a spiritual teacher. For many people, including myself, the most profound spiritual experiences happen outside. Being in nature naturally slows the nervous system and helps the mind return to the present moment. It's even been proven that listening to just a few minutes of birdsong or being near sounds of water like the ocean's waves can reduce stress levels and calm the nervous system. Spending time in forests, near water, or under the open sky can evoke a sense of awe and connection that many people describe as being deeply spiritual. Modern research has shown that time in nature can reduce cortisol levels, improve your mood, and increase feelings of meaning and well-being. And in many indigenous traditions, nature itself is considered one of the greatest spiritual teachers. Number 5, silence and reflection. Some people connect most deeply through quiet reflection. This might include things like journaling, prayer, contemplation, or simply just sitting in silence for even a few minutes. These practices allow you to quiet the mind and listen inwardly. They create space for intuition to emerge, and in Jungian psychology, reflection helps bring unconscious thoughts and patterns into awareness. And awareness is the first step towards transformation. Now let's look at the reasons why spiritual practices can help improve your life. When you develop practices that resonate with you personally, they can create profound changes in your life. These practices can help you do things like regulate your nervous system, reduce anxiety and stress levels, increase emotional resilience, improve self-awareness, strengthen intuition, create a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in your life. They also help you build a relationship with yourself, and that relationship becomes the foundation for everything else in your life. When you know yourself more deeply, you make decisions from clarity rather than fear. You respond to challenges with awareness instead of reactivity. You begin living more intentionally. So let's let go of the idea of a perfect practice and look at one of the most important things to remember is that your spiritual practice doesn't need to look perfect. It doesn't need to follow someone else's routine. It simply needs to be authentic to you. Some days your practice might be meditation. Other days it might be a walk in nature, or journaling, or listening to music that opens your heart. Your practice will most likely evolve over time as you do, and you will gravitate towards what feels right for you in that moment. What matters is the intention behind it: presence, awareness, and connection. So if you've ever felt like you were failing at spirituality because certain practices didn't resonate with you, let that pressure go. Your path is meant to be uniquely yours in all facets of your life, not just in your spiritual practice. Honor what actually works for your soul, whether that's stillness or movement, silence or music, reflection or creativity, because spirituality isn't about fitting yourself into a rigid system designed by someone else, for someone else. It's about discovering the practices that bring you closer to yourself, closer to awareness, and closer to the divine. And when you find those practices, they become tools that support your growth, can help regulate your nervous system, and help you live a more connected and meaningful life. And if you want a resource that dives into the content that we discussed today, then grab my Sacred Self-Love and Nervous System Healing Guide that I left for you in the pinned comments below. The guide is a great starting point to your spiritual journey and includes tools like an inner child meditation and a music playlist for the practices mentioned today and in the guide. And there are many other resources that are available for you in the description box below as well. And if you found today's video and the content helpful, I'd love to hear in the comments below which practice resonates with you most, or which one you're currently using, or if you have any questions on today's content. Thank you, as always, for your likes, shares, subscribes, and comments. It is my mission to help you find healing in deeper ways to come back to yourself, and I'm so grateful to be part of your journey of self-discovery. This is your weekly reminder to do something today that brings you joy. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.